I was born in 1964. This is the earliest photograph I have with me and my mum. I had spent a couple of months in hospital when I was born due to issues with my lungs. Here I am, 3 years old. This was a poignant time because this is when my parents split up. Although my childhood had issues, I had a great time with both my brothers. We were out and about, it was the 70s, and we just did what boys did. The change to high school though was very hard. First, I wasn't very good at sports. I found it hard to mix. And my smiling high school photograph covered up the fact that I was often bullied at school. So my lunch breaks were spent in the library. I liked reading, but also it was to hide away from the bullies. I liked books about machines and how they worked. I also had a keen interest in nature and would read a lot of books. And then I came across this book about the giant redwoods in America. Then I saw these photographs of tunnel trees, tunnels cut through giant redwoods, and I thought I'd like to visit them one day. And this is what my story's all about. My situation made me think to forget these things. But something happened when I was 16 that changed everything. My father took me on holiday to Mallorca, the first time I'd been on an aeroplane, and I couldn't believe it. This gave me the confidence to travel, and I've been travelling around the world for 45 years. But this story goes right back to the books at school. For my 60th birthday, a friend persuaded me to take a road trip through California and ended in Nevada. The first 3 days were spent in San Francisco, and the idea of the trip was to make it up as we went along. On the third day, we were going to decide where we went next, and then I remembered I wanted to see a giant redwood. We were going to be heading for Los Angeles, so randomly I chose Mariposa Grove, which is 155 miles away from where we were. We arrived late, so we stayed at the Oakhurst Inn. Oakhurst is about 10 miles from Mariposa Grove. There were thousands of other places we could have seen a giant redwood, so what I'm going to tell you next is pretty amazing. In the morning, we left Oakhurst around about 8:30, and things started to change as we get towards Yosemite National Park.
Mariposa County line.
Lots more trees, and also a lot of fire damage. The sign says Yosemite National Park, and we queued up. pass for Yosemite is about $35, and this gives you 3 days access to Yosemite. All of the different trails are marked on a map so you can find individual trees. You park at the bottom of which essentially is a mountain, which means although it's sunny in California, it's quite cold, so you need to wear warm clothes. A free shuttle bus takes you up to the top of Mariposa Grove. There I was, standing at the bottom of Mariposa Grove, and without the map, I didn't know what was coming next. Some of these giant sequoias are 2,000 to 3,000 years old. They were here before I was, and they'll probably still be here when I'm gone. Some of them are over 300 feet tall, and many of the larger ones, the trunks exceed 30 to 40 feet in diameter. Of course, with age, they do get weaker, and this one has been laying here for over 200 years. It is known as the Fallen Monarch. And I had to get a selfie, but I wasn't the first. These cavalry were there in the year 1900. And I walked the trail, and gradually it took me to the giant grizzly. Sequoias are impervious to fire, and their bark is so thick that most animals can't penetrate it. So this is the reason why they live so long. These pines don't fare as well in fires, and this leaves space for the sequoias to expand. Remember this photo? Well, I didn't know, but I was in the very park that this tree stood. And I say stood because in 1969 it was blown over. But there is an amazing thing. The California tunnel tree that I'm about to approach is the last one remaining in any park in California. Tunnel trees are cut by men, and this is the very last one to be standing and was cut in 1895, and they will never cut another. There I was, 45 years after seeing these trees in a book. We drove away while the traffic queue was still trying to get into the park, and something special had happened. By the slimmest of miracles, I had witnessed trees that had stood there since before the Bible had been created. And also, I'd found the last remaining tunnel tree. And my message to anyone who's going through tough times: persevere, they will pass. Keep these things in your heart that you want to do. And never give up on your dreams.